Hello out there, Rob with Hobbyking here with another product profile. And this is yet another exciting day for us because we have the new Prime Tundra here. Very, very excited about this model. So what is a Prime Tundra? Well, in the famous lineage of the Durafly Tundra and the Avios Grand Tundra, we now have the Prime Tundra. And this one is a little different, but it's also the same. So again, this has the famous lineage of the Durafly Tundra, and so it's got all those great features. It flies great, it's easy to assemble, it's a great trainer, it's a great aerobatic aircraft. It's just all around a really fantastic airframe, and we all love them. They're very popular. You see a lot of them at the fields. We'd love to see that. And so continuing in that legendary lineage, this is the newest model. So what makes this Prime Tundra different than the regular Tundra? Well, for one thing, to start, it's a little smaller. It's 1200 millimeter wingspan as opposed to 1300 millimeters. It is sold in two different versions. It is sold as an RTF, which includes the radio, and also as a PNF, plug and fly, which means that you can install your own receiver and use your own radio with it. And this one, the biggest difference is that it has a gyro in it. Okay, it has a gyro with 3 settings: off, beginner, and advanced. And that obviously is an introduction for newbies to RC flight. The gyro just helps stabilize things. It also helps to get you out of trouble situations sometimes, things like that. So let's get it out of the box. Let's go through all the components. We're going to assemble it. There are 2 different ways to assemble the plane. You can either put the wing on with rubber bands like in the old school days, or you can mount it with bolts as most modern planes are. So either way. Rubber bands are a little more forgiving when you doink a plane into the ground. Oops, you know, we've all done it. The rubber bands obviously give a bit of flex to the wing and fuselage so they can separate a little bit more and maybe not damage things as much. So maybe some of you might want to start off with the rubber band mount, and then when you get more advanced, you bolt the wing on later on. We'll see. But so let's get it out of the box. Let's put it together. We'll go through the build together, and I'll go over some points while we're doing that, and then that's it. As is typical these days, we have the quick start guide available right here, and the full manual is always available in the manuals and files tab of the product. So if you go to Prime Tundra or any product on the Hobbyking page, the manual will be downloadable in the manuals and files tab, so just go there to find it. So again, quick setup guide. This is the this is for the candy dropper. If you were to ever mount a candy dropper to your Prime Tundra, this is just a spacer used for the fuselage, and this is a sticker for the hatch. Okay, and don't forget that there are often components in the bottom of the box. Over the years, we've had some confusion with some planes that had parts down here, and people were like, "I didn't get my parts." No, they're in there. They're on the bottom. Okay, here's the radio. This is the T6A V2, designed specifically to work with the Prime Tundra. You've got obviously your controls here, okay, power button, bind, range test. We've got some specific switches going on here. So we have arm and disarm to arm and disarm the motor, throttle kill, throttle lock, whatever you want to call it. Flaps up, mid, and down. We've got dual rates, high and low here, and then we've also got gyro mode, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, there you go for that. All right. We've got everything out of the bag, out of the box and the bags, and we're ready to put together. So now, since this is a plane designed for folks that are maybe just getting into the RC flight, I would say definitely consult the manual. Okay, again, the manual is downloadable on the site, and so since this is sort of a video helper to get you going, we're going to walk through this together. All right, so first thing you do, check, make sure you've got everything. The manuals will show you everything you need to have. All right, so make sure you have everything, nothing's missing. And let's see, we're going to start with the undercarriage. All right, so the undercarriage is this right here. Okay, a lot of these things are going to be real straightforward if you're a more advanced pilot, but again, this is designed as a trainer for some folks that are just getting into the hobby. So we made things pretty easy. The manual is very, very straightforward, very simple to follow. So again, just follow along with me if you're new to this, but if you're more advanced, fast forward. All right, so on the wheels, just tighten that nut down just enough to have the wheels spin, but not be loose, okay? So just a tiny, tiny little bit of movement there. That's all you need. All the screw packages are labeled, okay? So for mounting the, I almost said retracts, for mounting the landing gear, you're going to use these 4 3x10 screws. Package comes with a screwdriver. So really, besides using a small wrench or something like that for the nuts on here, that's all you're going to need. So now you're going to mount the wheels, and pay attention to the fact that the cutout faces, I guess, this way. It's like almost like an arrow shape, and that points to the rear of the plane. Okay, so just make sure you check that out. And you will notice on the bottom too that it still has the mounts for floats. So you can mount the Tundra floats to this Tundra as well, of course. And flying on water is a blast. It's an absolute fun time. So you know, maybe that's another video. We'll get that going soon. As soon as the weather warms up here, we can start flying on the water again. I'll try to do a video for you. Okay, next up is mounting the horizontal stabilizer. And for that, we've got some carbon fiber rods and some other stuff here. So let's get all this out of here. Okay, and here's the piece for that. So that goes right through there. And then the fancy colored pieces go on top. So then you just slide them in like this. Match up the holes. You have to be very careful. Make sure that the rear pieces match. It's called a D-shaped kind of thing. There you go. Slide it in, and be very careful when you're sliding these together, because if you were to go up or down, you could obviously break them. So just make sure you push them in straight. It's sometimes helpful to just push them in like this from the middle, or from the edge kind of thing. All right, and then. Okay, you're going to use the 2.3x8 screws on here. You have one that goes here, one here, and then one goes through that D-shaped piece in the rear there that connects these two pieces. Okay, tail section's finished. Moving on, next thing is the tail wheel. Tail wheel just goes right in. Okay, goes with the Z shape. Or I guess I don't know what that is really. So this goes in this shape, in this orientation. Can you see that? There we go. Okay, step 3 in the manual, wing strut assembly. So identify the parts for the wing strut, and here they are. They look like L-shaped kind of brackets. Okay, and let's see, 2.3x6mm self-tapping screws. So, okay, so next is wing struts, and so we're going to use 2x10 screws and lock nuts, or nuts and bolts. And it says ensure that you attach the wing struts so the large dish end faces the underneath of the wing. Okay, so that means that this is the piece that's going to mount on here. All right, and they're marked. So this is left. So left is from the pilot's perspective, so that's this side of the plane. Okay. So while I'm putting the batteries in the radio, I can explain that the video file for wing assembly got corrupted, so I apologize. It's very simple. You either bolt the wing on using the 4 supplied bolts indicated in the manual, or you can use the rubber band straps, and to do that you would use the tabs and rods that go through the fuselage, the short one in the back, long one in the front. Again, this is very clearly explained in the manual. You should have no trouble with it, but if there's any concern, just let me know. Alright, so radio powered up, throttle trim is in the middle, throttle is down, disarm switch is, let's see, is towards me, so, is towards me for disarm, flaps are up, dual rates are up, gyro mode is up. Okay, so that's pretty standard. Let's power it up. Okay, so you heard the ESC beep the motor to initialize it, and you saw all the servos do their little dance. That just means that the gyro's calibrating. Okay, and so the motor is disarmed, so if I throttle up, I got nothing. Okay, nothing. I arm the motor. There we go, we got some throttle. Yeah, right. So We're going to turn that off again. So let's see, flaps. So flaps are up right now. We can go halfway and then full. Awesome. And we've got control here. Woohoo! All right, rudder, elevator, and aileron. Okay. Let's see. It looks like we're in low rates. Yes. So that's high rates, low rates. So you can see that the travel distance of the servos is a little less in low rates. Okay. So most trainers are going to have you start off with low rates, so your bank angle and all things like that are reduced, so you're more stable flight. And as you get more advanced, you get a little bit more aerobatic with things. You switch to high rates, and then you can start doing all the crazy stuff. Okay, the plane does come with a quick setup guide. Shows you the control throws, the specifications, the recommended battery, and the CG. So control throws for the RTF version are going to be preset, but for the PNF version, they're shown right here. Okay, if you want to set those individually on your radio. The recommended battery is a 3S pack, 30 to 60C, anywhere from a 1300 like this little guy up to an 1800. And the CG location is 55 to 60 millimeters back from the leading edge of the wing. It indicates it to be about right there. You can make a mark if you need to, and you would measure CG. You would have the battery in and the hatch on, and you would measure it here using the tips of your fingers. If you have a balance machine, that's even better. It'd be more precise. But this plane is a very forgiving model, so if you get the CG close, you'll be just fine. Okay, again, 55 to 60 from the leading edge of the wing, you'll be all set. And also, for the full assembly manual, you can use your smartphone and scan the QR code right here, and that'll bring up the full manual for you. All right? It's kind of cool to note that in addition to the candy dropper spacer, if you're going to mount a candy dropper to your fuselage, you can also fly the Prime Tundra with FPV, because we provide a tray for the FPV camera mount. All right, so if you get into that world of FPV as you advance in your RC flight, you simply swap out, you mount a camera there, and use that canopy right there. Okay, how cool is that? You gotta love it. So ready for anything. So you can start out very, very simple, and as you build up your skills and you get more advanced, you can jump into the world of FPV with that mount right there and have all kinds of crazy fun. So enjoy it. All right, that does it for the assembly of the Durafly Prime Tundra RTF version. One thing that I was very pleased to see, that right out of the box, all these surfaces are trimmed perfectly. Okay, ailerons, elevator, rudder, they're all perfectly straight and they're all exactly where they need to be right out of the box. No adjustments necessary. Kudos to that. Again, that makes assembly and your subsequent flights that much easier, that much more fun. So to see the model in flight, please check out Stuart's outstanding flight review video. He goes through the entire plane just like I did, but he's at the field, he's going to fly it, he's going to show you the model in the air, go through, talk about the STOL characteristics, which in this plane are very, very docile. A few more tips and tricks when flying with the gyro and things like that. So check that out. Stuart always does an outstanding job, and it's great to have that video in conjunction with this one. And so that's about it. Again, hit me up in the comments with any concerns, questions, or thoughts you have about this. I'd love to hear from you. And have fun out there, okay? We'll see you next time.